We are going to learn about one of the most basic elements of art today, which is line.
The definition of line is a moving dot.
You see the end of this marker? It's a dot. If I just place the tip of this marker on the paper, it will make a dot. So if I take the tip of the marker or a dot and pressing down, I move it across my paper, it creates a line. And that's why the definition of a line in art is a moving dot. It's also important to remember, especially for this project, that we have thick lines, which are fatter or wider, and we also have thin lines. Lines can even go from thick to thin. This is a photo of a very famous artist that you might have heard of named Pablo Picasso. Look at these simple line drawings of animals by Picasso. Do you see how some of them are made with what looks like only one line? They're not very complicated or shaded or have a lot of detail, and yet you can still tell what animal each of them are. We're going to create a similar kind of line drawing today. The first thing that you're going to need is paper. The best kind of paper is going to be a blank sheet of white paper. If you don't have either of those, you can just find a document with printed writing and use the back. You can also use lined paper. If you have colored paper, you can use that. Just make sure you use a light color so that your lines show up. You're also going to need something to draw with, depending what you have at your house. A marker would be great for this project. There's lots of different kinds of markers. Just make sure you're using a dark color. You can also use a pen. It's better to use something that can't erase for this project. But if you don't have any markers or pens, you can also use a pencil. You can also use a colored pencil. Again, you want to use a dark color or a crayon. Next, you'll grab an object from your house. Here are some random things I grabbed. A container of soap. It could be these things or different things. A thing of eye drops. It could be like a fruit or a vegetable. It could be art supplies like tape or like scissors. Go ahead and take this time to collect your materials. You're going to want a piece of paper. You're going to want something to draw with, and you're going to want your object that you're going to draw. The first drawing we're going to do is called a blind contour drawing. This means that you're going to look at the object you're drawing, but you're not going to look at your paper the whole time you draw. It might be hard for you not to look at your paper while you're drawing. You're so used to looking at your paper when you're writing and when you're drawing. So if it helps you, you can hold up a folder in front of your face while you're drawing. It's going to cover up your paper so you can't see your drawing, but it's going to make sure that you can still see the object that you're drawing. The goal of this artwork is not to produce something that looks realistic. The goal of this is to strengthen the connection between your eyes, your hands, and your brain. It also trains your eyes to study closely, which is important in art. Here's a video of me creating a blind contour drawing. While I was drawing this, I was looking at the object, but I was not looking at my paper or the drawing. This video is also sped up, so you can go a little slower if you need to. As you're drawing, it's okay to cross through areas that you've already drawn before. Now it's your turn to create a blind contour drawing. Now that you've finished your drawing, you're going to go through and you're going to make at least 10 lines thick. You don't want to make all the lines thick. We're going to leave some thin. And at least means it can be 10 or more lines that you're going to make thick, so they're fatter. Also, remember, like we talked about earlier, you can make lines that go from thin to thick or from thick to thin. This is going to make your drawing more interesting. If you look at your blind contour drawing, there's all sorts of shapes inside of it. Now we're going to color some of those shapes. You can use colored pencils. That's what I'm using. You can use crayons. You can use markers. And you can use a variety of colors, whichever colors you would like. We want to make sure that we still leave some of the shapes white. Let's leave between 5
and 8 shapes blank white. Look at this example that I made for you. I didn't leave any of the shapes white, and I was supposed to leave between 5 and 8 shapes white. Also, it's not neat coloring. It's really scratchy and rushed, and I didn't try to stay in the lines. Let's use 5 or more different colors if you have that many at home. I'm gonna speed up the rest of this video so I don't take too much of your time explaining so that you have lots of time to draw. Can you see how the drawings we did today look very similar to those of Pablo Picasso? Thanks for drawing with me today. I'll see you next time.